Welcome, one and all, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Now, folks, how was everybody's weekend? You have a good weekend? Yeah, you have a good weekend?
Yeah,
I had a pretty good weekend. Not as good as Donald Trump's weekend, but still pretty good. Now, here's the deal. In case you don't know, in case you're coming to us from under your rock, I hope you're all sitting down, and you all are. Good. Out there, too, because this weekend we received some troubling news. Our president is not a Russian asset. Now, it just feels strange to say. Now, I say troubling news because if Trump is not working with the Russians, then what the hell is wrong with him? If they don't have anything on him, why does he keep saying nice things about Vladimir Putin? It's like if at the end of The Manchurian Candidate, when they show him the Queen of Diamonds, the guy's like, put away the card, don't need it. Queen of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds, Subway sandwich punch card, whatever, I'm on board. So here's where we are. After almost 2 years, in which we all aged 10, on Friday, Robert Mueller turned in his report to Attorney General and white-collar Fred Flintstone, William Barr. What was in it? Friday around 5, something like that. What was in it? Nobody knew. Until yesterday, when Barr released a 4-page letter summarizing it. It was like the Cliff Notes, or more like, I want to jump off a Cliff Notes. Because the biggest bombshell, according to Barr, is that Mueller's report concluded the Trump campaign did not collude with Russia to influence the 2016 election. Which brings us to our new ongoing segment, Oh, all right then. Day one. This is, shall we say, anticlimactic. It's like saying, guess what, kids? Santa came, and he brought mostly nothing. In fact, Santa took his sack of presents and handed them over to some guy named Bill. And Bill's like, I'll give you a summary of the gifts. Oh, and by the way, this Bill guy got his job by writing a 19-page memo about how Christmas is illegal. Now, we've been following this Mueller investigation for 2 years. I think we even mentioned it on the show a couple of times. And this is the finale, okay? This is worse than the finale of Lost. Wow. I mean, what about the smoke monster? Was it real or not? And if not, why have so many members of Trump's campaign pled guilty to lying about meeting with the smoke monster? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why couldn't this have been like the ending of Seinfeld? Still disappointing, but at least they're all in jail. Now, oh my. So now that Barr says, that Mueller says, there's no proof of collusion, a lot of people want Trump's critics to apologize. I will start. I have said one or two things about Donald Trump, like how he's a terrible president. So, I'm just going to bite the bullet and say it. Mr. President, if you're watching, and I know you are, I'm sorry that you're a terrible president. That was easy. That wasn't that hard. Okay? That wasn't hard at all. Now, Barr also says the second part of Mueller's report focused on obstruction of justice. And obstruction is murkier here because, again, according to Barr, Mueller presented evidence both for and against obstruction, but did not draw a conclusion one way or the other. He just left it up to other people to figure that out. Mueller put it all in his new book, Did Trump Obstruct Justice? Choose Your Own Indictment. Now, Barr also quotes Mueller as saying, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him, which Trump summed up this way.
It was a complete and total exoneration.
No, it wasn't. He says it doesn't exonerate you. Trump does not understand the simplest of concepts. You know, I just tried some I can't believe it's not butter. It's total and complete butter. I can't believe how much it is butter. It's almost like Trump did not read Barr's summary. And by almost like, I mean exactly like, because he didn't. At 3 p.m. Sunday, Mr. Barr's chief of staff, Brian Rabbit, called one of the White House lawyers, Emmett T. Flood, and read him the letter. Mr. Flood then briefed Mr. Trump about Mr. Barr's letter. It is the best news of his entire presidency, and he can't even bother to read it. What? How long is it? 4 pages? Call me when it fits on a hat, okay? So,
lock that over there.
So here's the dealio. Mueller left the question of whether Trump obstructed justice to Barr, and Barr decided that investigators had insufficient evidence to establish that the president illegally obstructed justice. So he might have legally obstructed it. But Barr's whole decision is a little suspect because, again, before being appointed Attorney General, he wrote, nobody asked him to, he voluntarily wrote a 19-page memo where he called the obstruction theory fatally misconceived and said that it was based on a novel and legally unsupportable reading of the law. That's a hell of a job application. Hello, here's my card. It says, Bill Barr, obstruction is not possible. There you go. Oh, I got the job? What's my first assignment? Decide whether obstruction is possible? Let me see that card again for just a second there. No, it is not. There you go. Am I done? Can I go?
It's done.
Oh, I gotta stay? Barr's findings of Mueller's findings were a relief for the president. Reportedly, when Trump got the news, he expressed vindication, though no great display of emotion. No collusion. I was right. I'm having that feeling again. You know the one where you're not angry? What's the word? Is it happy? What's the word? Come on, you know, it's like horny, but for life. But later, in front of cameras, there was more of a bounce in his bone spurs.
I just want to tell you that America is the greatest place on earth. The greatest place on earth.
Greatest place on earth. Only in America can I, a rich and powerful white man, face no consequences for my actions. Plus, no wait, and I don't say this often enough, home of the Whopper. And I could go for a Whopper.
A Whopper Jr.
Double Whopper with cheese.
Oh, the double Whopper, wow.
And even though Mueller confirmed Russian election interference, the Kremlin is taking a victory lap. Putin spokesman Dmitry Peskov responded with the old gloating quote, I would like to quote the words of a Chinese philosopher who said, it is very hard to find the black cat in the dark room, especially if it is not there. We know because we executed the cat. Then locked reporters in dark room. Yesterday, Trump said that he completely trusts Mueller's results, and somebody should look into the people who gave those results.
It began illegally, and hopefully somebody's going to look at the other side. This was an illegal takedown that failed.
Though, to be fair, it is hard to take down Donald Trump. He's got a very low center of gravity. He's like a weeble, you know. It's like trying to tackle a trash bag full of hammers. But this is how he's been talking about Mueller and his team all along. He's constantly railed against the 13 angry Democrats in charge of the Russian witch hunt and said that the Russian witch hunt is rigged. No. In the Salem witch hunts, they always found them guilty. That's why it never ended with, sorry about burning you alive, Goody Jenkins. We've looked at the evidence, and there's nothing there, so just dust yourself off and... Oh, you're all dusted at this point. Okay, well then, my bad. Oh, that's my Pilgrim impression, by the way.
My bad.
All along, Trump blamed the entire witch hunt on a secret government cabal known as the Deep State. But here's the thing. If the Deep State is a government-wide conspiracy doing everything in its power to take down Donald Trump, then the Deep State sucks at their job. What kind of incompetent Illuminati do they have working over there at the Deep State?
Golly, I told the Freemasons we'd bring down Trump with a shadowy bureaucratic coup. But then I got my head stuck in a mop bucket, and I dropped my instructions from George Soros in the toilet. So if you'll excuse me, I got to get the Holy Grail out of the secret government storage and fill it with Mr. Pibb. We can't afford Dr. Pepper. We're kind of a shoestring cabal.
No, I'm shocked. Shocked. Thank you. Thank you. Really an actor. Really an actor.
Yeah.
Thank my lady wife. I'm shocked that Barr says, Mueller says, he didn't find compelling evidence that the Trump campaign cooperated with the Russians. Because that means that all those times that Trump tweeted, no collusion, he was right? Does that mean Trump was right about other stuff? Is it actually spelled hamburgers? Did he actually have the biggest inaugural crowd of all time? Because if so, there's something wrong with my eyes. Maybe I didn't spend enough time staring directly at the sun. So, anyway, so there it is. Mueller is an honorable man, and he has said that Donald Trump is not a foreign asset, which is good news. But even if Trump was falsely accused, he only has himself to blame. Because he lies so much, you just don't know what to believe. He even lies about things he doesn't need to lie about. For instance, we now know that Trump wrote the memo for Don Jr., wrote it on Air Force One, saying that the Trump Tower meeting with the Russians, where they were offering Hillary's emails, was actually about adoption. That lie is an obstruction about collusion. But Barr says... No, that may be... But Barr says that Mueller says that he's not sure that's a crime. But we do know that that is a lie. He lies so much, you never know when he's telling the truth. It's just safer to assume he's always lying. So here's the deal. The rest of Trump's presidency is going to be like a big bowl of chocolate chip cookie dough. He's going to promise you it's the finest chocolate chips in the world. But I promise you, if you swallow that, you're going to be eating some rat poop. Which technically may not be a crime, but it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. But fair's fair. True. True story.
True story.
Based on a true story.
That's a true story if I ever heard one.
But fair's fair. Barr says, Mueller says there was no collusion between Trump and Russia, so we have to cross collusion off the list of reasons Trump is unfit to be president. Fellas, bring out the board. Okay. Let's find it in here someplace. Put kids in cages, gave security clearance to his son-in-law, repeatedly humped the flag, called Nazis very fine people, hasn't released tax returns yet, all that birther stuff, thought Frederick Douglass was alive, tried to ban Muslims, gave a speech about a sex boat to Boy Scouts, ruined Kanye West. Oh, here we go. Colluded with Russia. Let's take that one off. There you go. No. Fair's fair. Let's take that one off. Okay? And I really want to be fair to him. Okay? I should also cross off Mueller from the list of Trump investigations. Okay? There. Sir, it's gone. That must be 1/17 of a weight off your shoulders. We got a great show for you tonight. Elizabeth Warren is here. But when we return,